golly, Loki Season 2 has come to one hell of a close. It was amazing, definitely one of the best MCU stories told so far. Today on Top 10 Nerd, we are going to break down 10 awesome Easter eggs you may have missed in Loki Season 2. So, spoiler warning, and let's jump in. Number 10, OB. Kihei Kwan's character, Ouroboros, has a name that's no accident. In a series centered around Norse mythology, Ouroboros has a mythological connection too. The name refers to a symbol of a serpent eating its own tail, representing an endless cycle. In Norse mythology, this creature is the Midgard serpent, one of Loki's children. Marvel Comics has featured the name Ouroboros before. In the 2015 comic Silver Surfer number 11, there's a character named Admiral Ouroboros. The story involves a time loop similar to Loki's time slipping. Another instance is in 2005's She-Hulk Volume 2 number 3, featuring a TVA judge named Ouroboros, spelled differently though. While OB's name might not directly reference the comics considering his role in the story, it aligns with the mythological parallel. The sacred timeline resembles a snake, and the temporal loom could be considered the snake's head. The time stream is essentially a snake eating its own tail, and now that OB is fixing the temporal loom, his name kinda makes perfect sense. Number 9, Broxton. In the end credits of episode 1, Sylvie goes to Broxton, Oklahoma. Now Marvel fans who pay attention might recognize this place. In Fantastic Four number 536 to 537, Oklahoma is where Thor's hammer Mjolnir lands on Earth. After Asgard is destroyed, Thor sets up a new Asgard in Broxton, Oklahoma in the 2007 Thor comic series. Some fans think this comic influenced the 2011 Thor movie, which had a storyline in rural America, though not in Oklahoma but in New Mexico instead. So how does this connect to the Loki TV series? Well, J. Michael Straczynski's comic was the first to introduce Lady Loki. He's credited in the first season of Loki for creating the character that inspired Sylvie. It's cool that Sylvie's first appearance in season 2 is in Broxton, where her character essentially started out. Number 8, movie posters. In the beginning of episode 2, Hunter X5 is now in a timeline where he made himself a famous actor. Loki and Mobius find him at the red carpet event for his movie Zaniac, a nod to a lesser known Thor villain from Marvel Comics. In Thor number 319, actor Brad Wolfe stars in a film called The Zaniac Craves Blood, where he plays a character possessed by a parasite, turning him into a blood-craving killer. In another comic, Thor number 372, a TVA justice teams up with Thor to stop Zaniac from harming Jane Foster. The Leopold Theater is showing various movie posters as well, including The Great Kingo, a Bollywood film related to Eternals, and Phone Ranger, a superhero movie with a character from Marvel Age Annual number 1 named A.G. Bell, who's a telephone repairman turned hero. Number 7, Balder the Brave. In season 2 of Loki, there's mention of a certain character named Balder, a character from Thor comics who hadn't been brought into the MCU until now. While studying Norse god statues, Loki wonders why they included Balder, saying no one's even heard of him, and Mobius responds saying sure they have, Balder the Brave. In the comics and in Norse mythology, Balder is Thor's gentle half-brother who cares more about saving baby birds than fighting. According to the prophecy, Balder's passing triggers Ragnarok. Now although Balder hasn't appeared in the MCU, designer Graham Churchyard revealed that a costume for Balder was created for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but it was cut. The god has actually managed to almost make it into every Thor movie, only to be cut last minute, with that same costume designer saying that his helmet has been in concepts ever since the first Thor movie. I think they should just give us Balder. Give us to him. He's great. Number 6, Renslayer. In the Loki TV series, it might seem like they only took Ravonna Renslayer's name from the comics, but her role in season 2 kind of subtly parallels her role in the comics. In the comics, Renslayer is Kang's lover, who sacrifices herself to save him. In Avengers 1963 number 71, Kang chooses power over bringing Renslayer back to life. Later, Renslayer is resurrected, and because of that, she seeks revenge. In the TV series, Kang variant Victor Timely isn't power hungry. He dumps Renslayer because he fears a partnership with her and because Miss Minutes kind of makes him. In Avengers Annual number 21, Renslayer becomes Terminatrix, battles Kang, and takes over Chronopolis. Now since Chronopolis is a city outside of time, fans speculate that the TVA could be the MCU's version of Chronopolis. Number 5, Alcatraz. Before joining the TVA, Casey was originally a man named Frank Morris, living on a different timeline timeline. Now interestingly, Frank Morris was a real person, a 1962 criminal who escaped Alcatraz with fellow inmates John and Clarence Anglin. Much like in Loki, they used replicas of their heads and escaped through a hole in the wall, launching a makeshift boat into San Francisco Bay. The first shot of the Anglin brothers in the episode might actually be a nod to the movie poster for Escape from Alcatraz. In reality, the trio likely didn't make it to land, but their bodies were never found, so we'll never actually know. Loki Season 2 suggests a possible alternative. Casey was taken by the TVA. Marvel fans may also notice directors Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson were playing Casey's fellow inmates, adding an extra layer to this Easter egg. Number 4. Quantumania. In the ending of Loki Season 2, the new TVA is keeping tabs on various Kang variants. When Mobius mentions a 616 adjacent realm, he's talking about the quantum realm in Earth 616. He's referring to events in Ant-Man and the Wasp's Quantumania, where Scott Lang faced a Kang variant. If you check B15's folder, you can spot pictures showing scenes from the movie, including Kang with glowing eyes and wearing his suit, as well as what seems to be Kang's multiversal engine core. Number 3. For All of Us. Now there's a callback during the ending of Loki Season 2 that goes all the way back to the first Thor movie in which Loki ever appeared. 2011's Thor. In Thor, Loki attempts to wipe out all the frost giants after one tries to take out his father, Odin. Now Thor foils his plan, of course, but Loki makes a last-ditch attempt to court Odin's favor. "I could have done it, father," he tells Odin, "for you, for all of us." Now, at the end of Loki Season 2, Loki says something similar right before he goes through the TVA's blast doors. He says, "I know what kind of god I need to be, for you, for all of us." Although Loki delivers almost exactly the same words at the start and end of his journey, their meaning couldn't be more different. In Thor, Loki was motivated by selfish reasons. He craved his father's approval and hoped that Odin would be so grateful that he would give Loki the throne. But now, at the end of Loki Season 2, the last thing Loki wants is a throne. He knows that if he takes his place at the end of time, he might never see his friends again. Yet, Loki still shoulders this burden because he has finally learned to see the bigger picture. This time, Loki is truly doing it for all of us. It's a perfect way to show how much the character has grown. Number 2. Glorious Purpose. In a first for a Marvel Studios Disney show, the title of Loki Season 2, Episode 6 is reused from a prior entry. The title of the episode is Glorious Purpose, the same title of Loki Season 1, Episode 1. This is a perfect title for the episode for various different reasons. For starters, it is symbolic of the whole circular infinite time loop that Loki has been in for the whole season, which he has actually now broken. But it's also symbolic of the character's growth. In Season 1, Loki thought his glorious purpose was to rule over those he deemed beneath him. However, by the time his arc concluded, Loki realized his glorious purpose was actually to keep the multiverse safe by anchoring it to himself and allowing it to flourish. Holding together the multiverse is now something Loki is burdened with, seemingly forever in the MCU. By the time of Loki Season 2, Episode 6's ending, Loki truly has found a purpose worthy of all the glory in the multiverse, facing his biggest fear of being truly alone and committing himself to be the one who saved literally everything. Number 1. God of Stories? At the end of Season 2, Loki figured out a way to be free of He Who Remains while also saving Sylvie, and he did this by completely destroying the temporal loom, grabbing all the dead variant timelines and anchoring them all to himself, sitting on He Who Remains' throne. There were a couple things from this scene I loved. I actually loved the whole thing, but for one, he got the greatest costume I have ever seen for the character with his massive horned helmet and his cape made up of various timelines. It's super cool. He is also now holding all the branches of the multiverse together himself, which becomes manifested as Yggdrasil, the world tree, with its own various branches and roots. Now, sitting at the center of the multiverse holding it to himself like this, many people have called Loki the God of Stories, but I don't believe that's what he is. I want to credit Rob over at Comics Explained for this theory. Loki God of Stories is a version of the character who can literally rewrite reality, telling a story that then becomes reality. But this version of Loki sitting in a chair is not doing that. Instead, Rob suggested that Loki is actually taking the place of Atlas, the custodian custodian of the multiverse, who has the task of monitoring the various realities, keeping them maintained, and preventing them from tumbling into the cosmic abyss. And that's all she wrote. Thank you guys so much for watching here on Top 10 Nerd. I'm your host, Adam Andrews. As always, I will catch you on the flippy flop, and until next time, peace out, nerds.